Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2018 horror sequel, Insidious, The Last Key. The film is directed by Adam Robitel and it stars Lynn Shay, Leah Whannell, who also wrote the film, Angus Sampson, Kurt Advoco, Caitlin Gerard, Spencer Locke, Josh Stewart and Bruce Davison. Now this time round, Elise, played by Lynn Shay, has been ghost hunting now after the third film. You know, she's got her confidence back. She's been ghost hunting with Specs and Tucker now for a little bit of time. And she gets a disturbing call for someone to come and essentially clear the house that they are living in. However, the house that they are living in happens to be her childhood home. And she is apprehensive about going back because when she was younger, her parents, certainly her father, rejected her gift, abused her terribly, and she ended up kind of unlocking the door to the spirit world, letting something really evil in, and never really closed the door. However, she decides the only way really to put this to bed is to face her past, heads out there to her family home to face the demons of her past and also try and make amends with her younger brother, played by Bruce Davison. Right, what are my thoughts on Insidious, The Last Key? Well, as you know, fairly recently I reviewed Insidious, the most recent one in the cinema, The Red Door, and when I reviewed that, I said I would go back and review the Insidious films that I hadn't seen up to this point, and that was the third Insidious film and this one, Insidious, The Last Key. Now, I quite enjoyed the third Insidious, Chapter 3, so I was quite looking forward to checking this one out. I think this Elise character that Lynn Shay's made famous is really pretty interesting character. And after checking out The Last Key, where do I think this film stands in the franchise? Well, probably it's probably the weakest in the franchise. However, that doesn't mean I'm saying this is a bad film. I don't think this is a bad film at all. In fact, I would go as far as to say there are categorically no bad films in the Insidious franchise. And at this point now, we're 5 films into the franchise, and there's not one that you would describe as bad. And I think that's pretty admirable for any franchise, really. So I think they've done pretty well. I think where this one kind of falls down is, it's got a very familiar story, going back to the childhood home, so on and so on and so forth. It felt a little bit like it was leaning heavily on like the Conjuring movies to a large degree. But also, as well, this whole connection to her family. I mean, we get some flashbacks, which I think, actually, I'm not usually a big fan of flashbacks, but I thought they'd done pretty well in this film. I think the issue of her reconnecting with her younger brother, played by Bruce Davison, who's grossly underused in the film, I thought they handled that really poorly. He's barely in it, and he goes from despising her to, forgiving her in the drop of a hat. There's no real reconnection taking place. It's just like one scene, get away from me, I never want to see you again, and then the next time you kind of see him, he's all is forgiven. And you can understand why all is forgiven. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, it just feels a bit jarring. And then we've got Bruce Davison's children. Is it Imogen and Melissa? And one of them happens to have the same gift as Elise. And you just got, they're really poorly introduced into the film. They're kind of forced in there as characters, and then one of them's got the gift, and you just know that, she's going to kind of be made to use that gift to kind of save the day and blah, blah, blah. So it all feels a little bit paint by numbers, a little bit generic, a little bit tick box exercise stuff going on here. Now, I think if it wasn't for the fact that the creature here wasn't so memorable, I think this film probably would have, in my opinion, been a lot worse. And again, I hesitate to say that because I don't think this is a bad film. But this creature, this entity, whatever you want to call it in this film, I think that's some of the Insidious films have always done brilliantly. You know, this whole design of their supernatural creatures, right the way from the first film right through to this film, and even the newest one, Red Door. Some really cool designs going on, and this creature's no exception. The fact that it can, basically, it's got like keys for fingers, and it can unlock things in you by pressing into your flesh and stuff. I mean, disturbing stuff, really, and it does work. And the whole idea as well of this family home, and I'm careful not to give away spoilers in case you haven't seen it. There's like a little bit of a twist which I thought was quite clever. The fact that the guy that has called them in to clear this house, her childhood home, himself has got a dark side to him, shall we say, and has also got direct links to her father, who abused her as a child. You know, I thought that was quite clever how they worked it and how it's all connected to this supernatural entity. But it for me, it felt like the ending was a little bit rushed, a little bit convenient sort of thing. I would have preferred it to have been a little bit more. I don't know what the right word is really. Like I say, I think they overused this new character, this her little brother's daughter's, you know, to kind of, it just felt a little bit convenient to use her as they did in this film. But definitely there's some chills and thrills to be had with this film, some clever scares, some impressive jump scares. This franchise has always been pretty good at jump scares. And I certainly think it sits nicely in the franchise. I just, you know, if I'm being really honest, this probably would sit right at the bottom of the franchise. But again, I do reiterate, I don't think there's a bad film in the Insidious catalogue as well. So, yeah, that's my review for Insidious: The Last Key. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this film. And don't forget, I will be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.